Dear students and mathematics lovers, welcome to the YouTube channel Mathematics Student Helper. The video is about vector space. This is actually part 5. Here the topics discussed here: linear span. At first I give the definition of linear span and the example, and then I give two theorems related linear span, and at last I discuss some problems related the above theorems. Anyway, I hope that you understand my video. If you understand my video, then please like after watching the video and share it with your friends. If the channel is still not subscribed, please subscribe it and say your friends to subscribe the channel. My request is please see all the videos, don't skip. At first I give the definition of linear span. Suppose V be a vector space over a field F and S is a finite set. This contains R elements alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha R. It is a finite subset of V. Then the set of all linear combination of the elements of S is called linear span, and it is denoted by L of S. That is, L of S means C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus CR alpha R, where C1, C2, CR are elements in F. This is this expression C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 and plus CR alpha R. This is a linear combination of the vectors alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha R. All the collection of linear combination is called linear span, and it is denoted by L of S. If you vary C1, C2, CR, that is elements in field, then you get many elements. You know that LS is a subspace of V, which is proved in previous video. However, here L is said to be generated by S, or it is said to be spanned by S. Linear span is called generated by the set S, or it is called spanned by S because you see that here elements of S are alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha R. If you vary C1, C2, CR, that is coefficients of alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha R, then you can generate the whole set L of S. So elements of A creates the set L of S, or elements of S generates the set L of S, or elements of S is spanned L of S. Okay. So here the elements alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha R, they are called generator of L of S. S is said to be set of generators of L of S. We know that LS is the smallest subspace of V containing the set S. I proved it in previous video, that is in part 4. And number 2, if S equal to phi, then L of S is a singleton set theta. Because we know here you see that LS is smallest subspace. Since LS is subspace, it must contains the element theta, that is the null vector. But here S contains no element, but LS is smallest subspace of V. Therefore, LS must be singleton set theta. Theta is the null vector. Next, note 3, if alpha belongs to S, then alpha belongs to LS, that is S is a subset of L of S. Just here LS is a subspace containing S. Just here I want to show that LS contains S. LS contains S, that is S is a subset of LS, that is LS is a superset of S. The smallestness and subspace of LS both are proved in previous video. Okay, here I prove L of S contains S. It is easy to prove. Suppose S is a finite set containing R elements alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha R. Now alpha 1 can be expressed as alpha 1 equal to 1 dot alpha 1 plus 0 dot alpha 2 plus dot 0 dot alpha R. We know that in vector space 1 dot alpha 1 is alpha 1. Here 1 is the unity in the field. It is not a real number. It is not a real number. In general, it is unity in a field. So 1 dot alpha 1 is always equal to alpha 1, and 0 dot alpha 2, this is theta. Theta is null element. Here 0 is not a real number. Here 0 is 0 element in the vectors in the field F, that is additive identity in F. Okay. So this is alpha 1, this is theta, and this is theta. So therefore as a result, this is alpha 1. So here you see that something alpha 1 plus something alpha 2 plus something alpha r. So this expression is a linear combination of alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha r. So whole the expression, that is alpha 1, is in L of S. Similarly, alpha 2 can be written as 0 dot alpha 1 plus 1 dot alpha 2 plus dot dot 0 dot alpha r. This is also belong to L of S. Similarly, all the elements at last alpha r, this can be expressed as in that form. So this is also in L of S. Thus all the elements in S belongs to L of S, that is alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha r, all the elements belong to L of S. So if alpha belongs to S, then alpha must belongs to L of S. So we prove S is a subset of L of S, that is LS contains S. Okay. Now I give a example of linear span. For that purpose, we consider set of vectors in R2 two-dimensional vector space. Here suppose alpha and beta are, alpha is 1 comma minus 3, beta is 2 comma 5. Then what will be L of alpha beta? Okay. We know that L of alpha beta means linear combination of alpha and beta, that is L of alpha beta is C alpha plus D beta for some CD in field. Here since the elements alpha or beta are the elements in R2, that is two-dimensional vector space, R2 is a real vector space, that is over a field of real number. So here you have to choose the scalars as real number. So here I choose CD as real numbers. Thus L of alpha beta equal to C alpha plus D beta for CD in R, that is if you vary CD, then you get many elements. Okay. Now here I put alpha equal to 1 minus 3 and beta equal to 2 5. Therefore the result will be C into 1 minus 3 plus D into 2 5, where CD in R. Now we have to calculate this, just we have to add component wise. In first component the result will be C plus 2D, and second component the result will be minus 3C plus 5D. As a result this will be C plus 2D comma minus 3C plus 5D, where CD are in R, set of real numbers. So this is the linear span of alpha beta. You can check that it is a subspace. Now I give some theorems. In first theorem the statement is, let S and T be two non-empty subsets, finite subsets of a vector space V over a field F such that S is a subset of T. Then prove that L of S is a subset of L of T. If S is subset of T, then L of S will be subset of LT. If S is a subset of T, then LS will be subset of LT, where S and T are two finite subsets in a vector space V over field F. We know that LS and LT both are subspace in V, because LS is the linear span of S and LT is the linear span of T. However, when S is a subset of T, then the L of S must be subset of L of T. Given that V be a vector space over a field F and ST are two non-empty finite subsets of V such that S is subset of T. Suppose L contains R elements. Here S is alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha R. We have to show that L of S is subset of L of T. L of S will be subset of LT if all the elements of LS are also element in LT. All the elements of LS are also elements in LT. That is, if xi is an element L of S, then we have to show that xi is also an element L of T. Okay. If you show that xi is also an element in LT, then we can conclude that L of S is a subset of LT. However, since xi is in LS, that is xi can be expressed as the linear combination of the vectors in S. So xi equal to C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus dot dot CR alpha R, where C1, C2, CR are scalars. But alpha 1 is an element in S, therefore alpha 1 is an element of T, because S is a subset of T, which is given in question. Again, alpha 1 in T implies that alpha 1 is in LT, because we know that LT is a superset of T, that is LT contains all the elements of T. LT contains all the elements of T. So here alpha 1 is in LT, that is when alpha 1 is in T, then alpha 1 must in L of T. Again, since LT is a subspace of V, then C1 in F and alpha 1 in LT must implies that C1 alpha 1 is in LT, which is the second condition of vector space or subspace. This is the second condition to be a subspace. Here we know that LT is a subspace. So for all C in F and for all alpha in that set, that is LT, their multiplication of alpha 1 by C1 must in L of T. So as a result we get C1 alpha 1 in LT. Similarly, C2 alpha 2, C3 alpha 3 and CR alpha are all the elements must belong to L of T. Again, since LT is a subspace of V, then C1 alpha 1 in LT, C2 alpha 2, C3 alpha 3 and CR alpha in LT must implies that C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 plus dot dot CR alpha R belong to L of T. Again, this expression is actually xi, therefore xi is in LT. Thus, we see that xi in LS implies that xi is in LT. Therefore, every element of LS is an element of L of T. So, we can conclude that L of S is a subset of L of T. Hence, the theorem is proved. Now, I give another theorem. This is also related to linear span. Suppose V be a vector space and S and T be two non-empty finite subsets of V vector space V over a field F such that every element of T is every element of S is a linear combination of the elements of T. Then L of S is a subset of L of T. Same as previous theorem, S and T are two non-empty finite subsets of a vector space V over a field F such that every element of S is a linear combination of the vectors of T. Every element of S is a linear combination of the vectors of T. Then we have to prove that L of S is a subset of LT, that is linear span spanned by S and linear span spanned by T. They have that relation. When all the elements of S is a linear combination of the elements of T, then LS will be subset of L of T. Given that V be a vector space over a field F and ST are two non-empty finite subsets of V such that every element of S is a linear combination of the elements of T. Suppose S contains M elements and T contains N elements, and the elements in S are alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha M and elements in T are beta 1 beta 2 beta N. Then alpha 1 equal to C1 something beta 1 plus something beta 2 plus something beta N, because here in statement every element of S is a linear combination of the elements of T, that is alpha 1 is a linear combination of the elements of T, alpha 2 is a linear combination of the elements of T, alpha M is a linear combination of the elements of T. Since alpha 1 is a linear combination of elements of T, therefore alpha 1 equal to something beta 1 plus something beta 2 plus dot dot something beta N. Similarly, alpha 2 can be expressed as the linear combination of the elements of T, that is something beta 1 plus something beta 2 plus something beta N. Similarly, all the elements can be expressed as the linear combination of the elements of T. Finally, I write here alpha m equal to Cm1 beta 1 plus Cm2 beta 2 plus dot dot Cmn. Here the C11, C12, C1n, C21, C22, C2n, Cm1, Cm2, Cmn, all the elements are scalars, that is all belong to F, where Ci j in F for I equal to 1 to m and j equal to 1 to n. Okay. Now we have to show that L of S is a subset of LT. For that purpose, we have to show that all the elements of LT is also element of L of T. Suppose xi is an element in L of S, so xi can be expressed as the linear combination of the elements of S. Suppose xi equal to P1 alpha 1 plus P2 alpha 2 plus dot dot Pm alpha m, where P1, P2, Pm are scalars, that is elements in F. Now our target is to prove that xi is an element in LT. That is, we have to prove that xi can be expressed as the linear combination of the elements of T. That is, her elements in T are beta 1, beta 2, beta n. So we have to show that xi equal to something beta 1 plus something beta 2 plus something beta n. Okay. So we have to replace alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha m by that relations. For that purpose, we put P1, and here in the place of alpha 1 I put that result C1 beta 1 plus C1 2 beta 2 plus dot dot C1 in beta n plus plus P2 into alpha 2, here this is alpha 2, I put it here, and finally Pm into alpha m. Now our is target to prove xi equal to something beta 1 plus something beta 2 plus something beta 3. So we have to collect all the beta 1, that is first terms. Here in first term the beta 1 present, so we have to take common in first terms, and in second terms there are beta 2, so we have to separate beta 1 and beta 2. For that purpose, here coefficients of beta 1 is P1 C11 plus P2 C21 plus Pm Cm1. Okay, coefficients of beta 2 will be P1 C12 plus P2 C22 plus dot 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 Pm Cm2. These are the coefficients of beta 2. Okay, so we see that xi equal to something beta 1 plus something beta 2. I write down the some things are d1, d2 and dn. Clearly this is d1, this is d2 and this is dn. Therefore xi can be expressed as the linear combination of the elements of T. Okay, thus xi belongs to L of S implies that xi belongs to L of T. Thus all the elements of Ls is an element of Lt. So we can conclude that Ls is a subset of L of T. Hence the theorem is proved. Now I give some problems. In first problem, let alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha are vectors in real vector space V such that alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 equal to theta. Then prove that L of alpha 1, alpha 2 equal to L of alpha 2, alpha 3 equal to L of alpha 3, alpha 1. Here we consider the real vector space V such that alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha are vectors in real vector space V such that alpha 1 plus alpha 2 plus alpha 3 equal to theta. Theta is a null element. Prove that L of alpha 1, alpha 2 equal to L of alpha 2, alpha 3 equal to L of alpha 3, alpha 1. Solution. Suppose this is S1 and this set is S2 and this set is S3. That is S1 is alpha 1, alpha 2, S2 is alpha 2, alpha 3, S3 is alpha 3, alpha 1. So we have to show that L of S1 equal to L of S2 equal to L of S3. Okay. Now alpha 1 plus alpha 2 plus alpha 3 equal to theta. This implies that alpha 1 equal to minus alpha 2 minus alpha 3. Thus I take alpha 2, alpha 3 in right hand side. So here you see that alpha 1 is equal to something alpha 2 plus something alpha 3. That is alpha 1 is something alpha 1 in plus something alpha 3. That is alpha 1 is a linear combination of the elements of alpha 2, alpha 3. That is alpha 1 is an element in L of S2. Okay. So here first element of S1, that is alpha 1, is an element in S2. And similar but second element, that is alpha 2 is an element in S2 also. Alpha 2, here alpha 2 is an element in S1, this is also an element in S2, that is alpha 2 is in S2. Since alpha 2 is in S2, this implies that alpha 2 is in L of S2, because we know that L of S2 contains all the elements of S2. Thus here alpha 1 and alpha 2 is in L of S2, that is every here you see that here alpha 1 is in L of S2, alpha 2 is in L of S2, that is all the elements of S1 is in L of S2, that is every element of S1 is a linear combination of the vectors of S2. Okay, so in second theorem which are discussed in second theorem, we can conclude that L of S1 is a subset of L of S2. By similar process, we can show that L of S2 equal to L of S1. So from that two relations, we can conclude that L of S1 equal to L of S2. Okay, L of S1 equal to L of S2. By similar process, we can show that L of S1 equal to here L of S2 equal to L of S3, but you can show that L of S1 equal to L of S3. Okay, so L of S1 equal to L of S2 equal to L of S3. That is, S1 means L of alpha 1 alpha 2, L of alpha 2 alpha 3, and L of alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 1. Okay, this is S1 is S alpha 1 alpha 2, S2 is alpha 2 alpha 3, S3 is alpha 3 alpha 1. So L of alpha 1 alpha 2 equal to L of alpha 2 alpha 3 equal to L of alpha 3 alpha 1. Hence the problem is solved. Now at last I give another problem. Here actually I prove I calculate this problem by using second theorem, but in next problem I use both the theorems, first theorem as well as in second theorem. Let alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 are vectors in a real vector space V such that C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 plus C4 alpha 4 equal to theta, where C1 C2 C3 C4 are real numbers with C1 C4 not equal to 0. Prove that L of alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 equal to L of alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 equal to L of alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3. Clearly, since V is a vector space, therefore the corresponding field is a set of real numbers. This is real vector space. Here capital V is a real vector space, therefore the corresponding field is set of real numbers. Okay, so if you take any scalars, this will be real number in that case. However, here given a relation between C alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 and alpha 4, the relation is C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 plus C4 alpha 4 equal to theta. Here theta is 0 vector or null vector. Clearly here the coefficients, that is C1 C2 C3 C4 are real numbers with here given another condition between C1 C2 C3 C4. The condition is C1 C4 is not equal to 0. Since C1 C4 are real numbers and their product is non-zero, therefore we can conclude that C1 and C4 are both non-zero real numbers. Okay, however we have to show that L of alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 equal to L of alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 equal to L of alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3. That is, the linear span spanned by alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 is equal to the linear span spanned by alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4. That is, you can delete alpha 1 from the set of generators. This will be both the sets that and that is alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 and alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 both span the same set. Okay, this is called deletion theorem, which is proved in some another video. However, here we consider this is a S1 is alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 and S2 is alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 and S3 is alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3. Here we have to prove that the linear span spanned by S1 and spanned by S2 and spanned by S3 all are equal. Just here if you see S1 and S2, then just I delete S1 from alpha 1 from S1. Okay, however we have to prove that L of S1 equal to L of S2 equal to L of S3, but here I prove L of S1 equal to L of S2. You can prove L of S1 equal to L of S3. Okay, since C1 C2 C3 C4 are real numbers with C1 C4 non-zero, multiplication of C1 C4 is non-zero, therefore we must have C1 is non-zero and C2 is also non-zero. Now from the relation C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 plus C4 alpha 4, we get C1 alpha 1 equal to minus C2 alpha 2 minus C3 alpha 3 minus C4 alpha 4, implies that alpha 1 equal to 1 by C1 C2 alpha 2 C3 alpha 3 minus C4 alpha 4. I can divide C1 in both sides because C1 is a non-zero real numbers. So if I simplify it again, then this will be alpha 1 equal to minus C2 by C1 alpha 2 minus C3 by C1 alpha 3 minus C4 by C1 alpha 4. Clearly alpha 1 can be expressed as linear combination of alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4, that is something alpha 2 something alpha 3 something alpha 4. This is a real number, this is a real number, this is a real number, that is minus C2 by C1 is a real number, minus C3 by C1 is also a real number, minus C4 by C1 is a real number. So alpha 1 can be expressed as the linear combination of alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4. Again alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 are elements in S2. S2 is the set alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4. Here alpha 1 can be expressed as the linear combination of alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4. So we can conclude that alpha 1 is an element in L of S2. If I see the set S1, here we will show that here alpha 1 can be expressed as the linear combination and of the elements of S2, but the remaining elements, that is alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4, all the elements in S2. Since these are elements in S2, therefore these must in L of S2, because we know that L of S2 contains all the elements of S2. Thus here I see that alpha 1 is in L of S2, alpha 2 is in L of S2, alpha 3 alpha 4 all the elements in L of S2. So all the elements of S1 is an element of L of S2, that is all the elements of S1 can be expressed as the linear combination of the elements of S2. Thus every element of S1 is a linear combination of the vectors of S2. Therefore we can conclude that L of S1 is a subset of L of S2. Now our target is to prove L of S1 equal to L of S2. Okay, for that purpose we have to prove that L of S2 is a subset of L of S1. Okay, for that purpose just see S1 and S2. Here you will see that S2 is a subset of L of S1. So by first theorem, since S2 is a subset of S1, from first theorem we can conclude that L of S2 is a subset of L of S1. Okay. Again, since S2 is a subset of S1, we can conclude that L of S2 is a subset of L of S1. From that two results, from that and that result, we can conclude that L of S1 equal to L of S2. Similarly, you can show that L of S1 equal to L of S3, and therefore L of S1 equal to L of S2 equal to L of S3. That is, here S1 is alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4, S2 is alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4, and S3 is alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3. That is L of alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 equal to L of alpha 2 alpha 3 alpha 4 equal to L of alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha 3. Okay, so the problem is solved. I hope that you understand the topics. Please see next videos, and you can see the previous video. All the link of the videos are given in description box. Please see the description box. If you have any question or any query, you can comment or you can mail me. Email ID is given in description box. Anyway, thank you.